It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the Minnesota Duluth assistant men's basketball coach, Casey Bruggeman. How are you doing today?
Doing great, Brandon. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to get into college coaching?
Well, I grew up son of a girls basketball coach. My dad coached high school girls basketball. So grew up in the gym since I was a little kid and just established a love for the game. And then I think heading into college, was pretty sure I knew I wanted to coach college basketball. But once I got into the college basketball atmosphere, that really cemented things. And I think that's when I really knew I wanted to coach in college.
What was your playing time like in college?
It was really fun. I went to Concordia College in Moorhead, which is a Division III school. For those of you who have never seen Division III basketball, really good level of basketball. I coach at a Division II now, and obviously a lot of people know Division I sports are high level, but all the way down to Division III, there's great players, great coaches, great teams all over, and it's really fun to watch. So if you got a local Division III school around you, I would encourage you to get out and support them. But I had an awesome time playing at Concordia College in Moorhead. Played for a legendary coach. His name was Rich Glass, who was in about his 40th year, I think, of coaching. When I got to Concordia, I coached at the University of North Dakota, at the University of Hawaii, at Arizona. So he had been to some really cool places. So it was awesome to learn from him. And we established a pretty cool culture during our time there, and some great friendships and some success on the court as well. So had a ton of fun playing there. And I think it really formed me into the type of coach I wanted to be, because I want to give my guys kind of that similar experience that I got to playing at Concordia.
What was it like, obviously, going to your alma mater and coaching at your alma mater, Concordia?
Yeah, so my senior year, I ended up having a career-ending hip surgery halfway through the year. Was a degenerative thing, and it was just time for me to make that transition from being a player to helping out on the coaching staff. I was really adamant with my assistant coaches that, hey, don't call me coach. I'm still a player, even though I'm hurt, even though I'm helping out in that student assistant role. I still wanted to be considered a player, because that was really important to me that I played all 4 of those years. But I was fortunate enough to be able to start getting some of that coaching experience as a student assistant that second half of my senior year. And that was really fun. It was one of those things where you just kind of show up and you learn, and you just try to help out where you can. But that couple months that I had where I wasn't in a jersey anymore, I was wearing dress pants and a dress shirt on the bench, I think it really helped me be prepared to step into a graduate assistant role after that year.
Can you talk about, of course, what it was like transitioning from being a student to a grad assistant?
Yeah, for sure. I had an unbelievable opportunity to jump up to the Division II level out at the University of Mary in Bismarck, North Dakota. I was hired by head coach Joe Cattell, one of the greatest men I've had the opportunity to be around. Just a great man and a great coach too. And I joined the coaching staff with him and Josh Vaughn, who's now an assistant coach at Northern State, who I get to coach against still. So that's really fun. But that transition was an eye-opening experience, Brandon. I talked about how I felt like that student assistant experience helped prepare me a little bit for a graduate assistant. Well, I had no idea what I was doing my first couple years as a college coach. I probably still don't know what I'm doing as a college coach, but those first 2 years, Coach Cattell, the head coach out there, he gave me a lot of responsibility, and he allowed me to learn and mess up a lot and learn some more and mess up some more and learn and just help mentor me. Him and Coach Vaughn really did a great job of just making me feel supported and making me feel valued. And I had an awesome experience and couldn't be more thankful for that opportunity to be a grad assistant at the University of Mary.
Coming off of obviously being a grad assistant, what was it like becoming the first-time assistant coach at St. Cloud State?
So headed down after that grad assistant year after my 2 years as a grad assistant in Bismarck, went down to St. Cloud State and kind of joke about that with the head coach who's still there now, Coach Reimer, how didn't spend a ton of time there, right? I got hired at the beginning of May and then was hired up at the University of Minnesota Duluth at the beginning of August. So spent that 3 months there though as their second assistant and had the opportunity to take over for Coach Mahmoud, who is now the head coach of the Houston Rockets G League team. So he was a guy who everyone knew was a great coach, great recruiter, great with the guys. So I'm like, man, I got some pretty big shoes to fill. So I came in there and like, hey, I'm just going to try to work as hard as I can from a recruiting standpoint. Had the opportunity to learn a lot. We recruited a lot in Illinois, so was able to establish some connections down there, but also Minnesota, Wisconsin, the kind of that upper Midwest region as well. So from a recruiting side, that was really fun those 3 months. And then also the camps, they got some pretty legendary camps there down at St. Cloud State with, hundreds of kids coming in throughout the summer. So that was really fun to be involved with. But Coach Reimer, the head coach down there, Coach Welk, two great guys. You can kind of see a theme. I played for a great coach in college. I got the opportunity to be around Coach Cattell and Coach Vaughn at the University of Mary. They were awesome. And Coach Reimer and Coach Welk at St. Cloud State, they were awesome too. So I've been very blessed along the journey to be around some pretty special people.
What was it like whenever you joined, obviously, the Minnesota Duluth team?
Yeah, so that was a crazy summer, right? Where you basically are working for 3 schools in about 3 months. You go right from University of Mary to St. Cloud State to now UMD. So UMD and St. Cloud State are about 2.5 hours apart. The head coach I work for now, Justin Wick, we had known each other because he was the associate head coach at Minnesota State Moorhead. So I played at Concordia Moorhead, the Division III school in town. And he was the associate head coach at the Division II school in town. And I spent a lot of time around their program, going to games, playing open gym with their guys in the summer. And my cousin was also his All-American point guard for their team that went to the Elite Eight. So I just had a lot of connections with Coach Wick. So there I was, when he first got the job at Minnesota Duluth, I was just down the road as a second assistant. And I was fortunate enough that he called me up to join him on staff as their head assistant at Minnesota Duluth. And we had the opportunity to take over a program that, hadn't had a ton of success in the prior years before we got there. So it was just a chance to try to go build something together. And that was an opportunity I couldn't pass up.
Can you talk about, of course, what it's been like helping build the culture at Minnesota Duluth?
Yeah, it's been awesome up here. It all starts with Coach Wick, our head coach. He's just a great man. And there you go. Once again, right? Another great person I get to work for, just a great human to be around. And I felt really confident in my decision to join the staff up here and leaving a really good situation at St. Cloud State, where they went to the NCAA tournament and went to the Sweet 16, had a lot of success there. But I felt really confident in my decision to join the program up here at Minnesota Duluth because of Coach Wick and because of the type of man he was and the type of charisma he has as a head coach. And we got in here and you just kind of do it every day, right? You just try to do the best you can every day. You try to treat people right. You try to do the right thing. You try to treat your guys extremely well, and you try to work really, really hard. And you don't always know how it's going to end up. Our first year, we were battling like tooth and nail. Ended up scratching out a 17-10 record, which was a really good accomplishment from where the program had been the prior years. And then our second year as a staff, we went 22-9, had some really, really good players. Like, this isn't coaching at all. We had some good players that bought in and worked really hard. And we were just kind of there to help them along the way. We had some really good players, but it was just fun. And now to see us here in year 4, sit at 13-0, ranked top 10 in the country. It just puts a smile on your face, right? Because you're just trying to do the best you can every day, and you don't know how it's gonna turn out. But when things go well, it just is like, okay, I'm glad we tried to just do the best we could, try to do what's right, try to do things the right way, and it's really cool to see it pay off from a cultural standpoint, and just having good guys in our program who are talented basketball players, but I think more importantly, good people and good students.
Who are some of the teams that you face each week?
Yeah, so we play in the Northern Sun Intercollegiate Conference. So that's a 16-team Division II conference comprised of teams from Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, Iowa, and Nebraska. So a very far-reaching conference. It's split into two halves. So we have a north half, which we are in, and a south half that we are in. So mentioned St. Cloud State, mentioned University of Mary, mentioned Northern State. Those are all teams that are in our north half of the conference. But then, like I said, there's 16 teams. There's 3 schools, I think, in South Dakota, 1 in Nebraska, 1 in Iowa, and a few more there in Minnesota. So very competitive Division II conference. I think some really high-level basketball, and our whole region in general is some high-level basketball with the GAC and the MIAA and NSIC. Some really good hoops here in the central part of the United States.
What is it like, obviously, getting to play those in-state schools like Minnesota, Golden Guilford, St. Cloud State?
It's fun. A lot of these players that we play against with these in-state schools, like the Bemidji States, the St. Cloud States, the Crookstons, the Minnesota State Moorheads, the Mankato States, Winona States, all of these guys have played against each other in high school, whether that is in the Twin Cities area, outstate Minnesota, Wisconsin, because that's where a lot of the players on these rosters are from. So I think it's cool little rivalries for these guys to play against each other. And also as coaches, we get to know each other. Heck, I've been at 3 schools in the Northern Sun Conference. Coach Wick's been at 3 schools as well. So you have some very competitive friendships. These are coaches that we spend a ton of time with on the road, out recruiting, and just having a good time, because you're sitting in the gym all day next to these guys that you compete against during the year and watching these players that you're recruiting. And, you just strike up conversations and get to know each other really well. And then you get into the games and you compete like crazy, right? But, after the games, I pretty much hug every coach that we play. And I think the players also do that just because they know these guys. They've competed against these guys. And so I think it's fun for the players and coaches, and also fun for the fans to see all these players that were the best in their respective states, and specifically Minnesota and Wisconsin with our rosters playing against each other.
What does the recruitment process look like for prospective student athletes?
Yeah, I think it's different for everybody. I always try to tell prospective student athletes during the recruiting process that everyone's path is different, right? Everyone's path is different. We got guys who were the man, right? From the time they were freshman and sophomore, everyone knew they were going to be a good player. They had all the scholarship offers early. They knew that they were going to have a lot of options. But then we also have guys on our roster who weren't having any interest till all of a sudden their summer before their senior year, and then they hit a growth spurt, or their game really takes a jump to the next level. And then all of a sudden, all these coaches are talking to them at once, right? And that wasn't a very long recruiting process. It was a little bit more short and intense. And then we got guys who just played really well their senior year and worked their way to a position where they earned themselves a roster spot or a scholarship offer at Division II. So everyone's path is kind of different. I would say the biggest thing that we try to do here at UMD is just build a relationship, right? So we try to reach out to a lot of kids early, and then just keep that consistent communication. Give them an opportunity to learn about UMD. And we tell them that when you choose to commit here, we want you to know exactly what you're getting into, know everything about our school. You have a great feel for our program, and that comes through the communication and the relationship building. But everyone's path is different. kids just got to work really hard and control what they can control. Heck, I wasn't good enough to have the opportunity to earn a scholarship. So I went and played Division III, had a great experience, right? So it's just run your race, right? Run your race and good things will happen if you just put your head down and work.
What does the official visit look like at Duluth?
Yeah, so our official visits usually happen in the fall of kids' senior year. So by that time, most of our recruits that are coming on those official visits, this is either a kind of celebratory official visit where they've already made a verbal commitment to us, or this is kind of like the last step in the recruiting process and probably their second or third time that they've been to campus. So they've been to campus for a couple unofficial visits. They've done the tour. They've done the meetings with the coaches. They've done the meetings with the professors. And now it's more about spending an extended period of time with our coaching staff and probably more importantly, our players. Getting to do some social things with our players, like attend a volleyball game, attend a men's hockey game, attend the football game. But like I said earlier, giving kids the chance to really see a full perspective of the school. And I think that's what our official visits consist of, is more of the, hey, what are you going to do if you're a college student here at UMD? So you're going to spend a ton of time hanging out with our guys. Of course, we're going to enjoy some of the best restaurants in town, which I always appreciate getting some meals out of the official visits, and we're going to have some great food, some great apps and all that, and have some fun doing that. But it's more about spending time with our guys and just enjoying the city in the campus.
What's it like, obviously, getting to see those prospective student athletes put on that Minnesota Duluth jersey and see if they feel at home in it?
It's really fun. Bring them down to the locker room and they'll have the jerseys hanging up, ready to go. They kind of get their pick of our 3 uniform sets, what color they want to go with. A lot go with gold. I think our golds are pretty sharp. And then they come up into the gym and we got the hoops set out. We got the balls up, and they just get a chance to shoot around in the jersey. And usually there's a big smile on their faces, probably even a bigger smile on their parents' faces, seeing them put on a jersey that I think symbolizes a lot of hard work, because these kids, they don't just get here. They don't just get to this point by luck. It's a lot of hard work, probably some stress during the recruiting process, but to see them put on that jersey and to shoot around and to take some pictures with our coaching staff, I think is really fun, especially when they've already kind of made a verbal commitment to us. If they're coming on a official visit, it's really fun.
What advice would you give prospective student athletes looking to play college basketball?
Well, like I mentioned a little earlier, I think it's just important to run your race. With Twitter, everyone just looks around and sees, well, this kid's got this offer, this kid's got this offer, and you can start to get a little down on yourself or a little just like frustrated by the process, right? Like, why am I not getting this opportunity that I wanted to, that I've wanted my whole life? And I get it, right? Those are very real emotions, but everybody's path is different. Everyone's race is different. You just got to work as hard as you can and just try and treat people the right way. And I'm a big believer that that's going to lead you exactly to the spot you need to be in. And I always tell kids, answer every coach's call and text and at least hear them out. You can decide maybe pretty quickly, like, hey, coach, I don't think this is the right fit for me. I don't think I'm going to go here. Thank you for your time. But at least answer everybody's call, everyone's text, do your due diligence to look into the school. Does it fit what I want from a academic standpoint, from a community standpoint, from a culture standpoint of the basketball team? You got to look at those things, but you would never even know if you don't take the time to at least hear people out. Like I said, like Division I, Division II, Division III, great basketball players, great coaches, great teams all over the place, great schools, great communities. See all those schools, right? See all those schools. Never tell anyone like, oh, I'm not going to go there. Like, at least hear them out. You might realize that there's a coach there that you really get along with, and that's going to ride or die for you for the rest of your life. So hear coaches out, just do your due diligence, but keep working hard, keep trying to treat people the right way.
What advice would you give those college basketball players that are going from college basketball to getting into college coaching like you did?
I would say the biggest thing that you can do from an early age, especially transitioning into college, is just get involved with a youth team while you're coaching college, specifically AAU if you want to coach college basketball, because having those ties, and recruiting ties and relationship ties are just so important. So just get involved. Like I said earlier, I've been so lucky that I've had a ton of people give me an opportunity to do things, to mess up, to fail, and to learn from those mistakes. Like guys like Chris Lewis with the Minnesota Comets, who I coached with all the way through college. Like I couldn't tell you the amount of dumb things and the amount of bad coaching decisions I made while coaching for the Minnesota Comets and coaching alongside Chris. And he probably laughed at me a lot, but allowed me to learn from those mistakes and to grow and to have a ton of relationships out of that experience and a ton of just coaching experience too, that has certainly put me in a position to be where I'm at today, where I get to coach basketball for a living. Like, how great is this? I haven't worked a day in my life. I don't feel like I've worked a day in my life because I get to coach basketball, but get involved with coaching camps, get involved with coaching youth programs, AAU, all that stuff is great because it's going to give you experience and connections that are just going to help you down the road.
What advice would you give future college basketball coaches looking to get into the industry?
Relationships are everything, right? Relationships are everything. So a lot of it comes back to what I said earlier, like just getting involved, getting to know AAU coaches, getting to know high school coaches. And I would say one thing that I probably didn't do a great job of when I was going through it was just like keeping my mouth shut and just, when I open my mouth, just ask questions to try to get knowledge, right? Just learn at every opportunity. And that's something I guess I've tried to do as I've continued on in this business, is just like, hey, just learn as much as you can. Ask questions to these people that you respect, that you think are doing something well, and can you learn from them? Don't think you got it all figured out, because you never do. I'm sure I make mistakes on a daily basis right now that I'm going to look back on in 5 years and be like, dang, why were you doing that? But just learn at every opportunity, work extremely hard, and treat people the right way. And good things will happen.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media, along with the Minnesota Duluth basketball program at?
Yeah, so my personal social media is just at Coach Bruggeman 1, and then our Twitter handle is, if you just search at UMD men's basketball, you'll be able to find that there. And when we try to pump out some good content, give you some info on our guys. We have some special young men in our program that I think are really fun to follow. Like I said earlier, we're 13-0, top 10 in the country. We got a long ways to go and a lot of improvement to have here in the second half of the year, but it's been a fun ride so far. So I encourage you to check us out.
That's wonderful. Thank you again, Coach Casey Bruggeman, for your interview, and best of luck in your future with the Minnesota Duluth basketball program.
Thanks for the opportunity, Brandon. I appreciate it.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Casey Bruggeman, for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
Thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.